Hello, we are in a special lesson about the topic of the preparation for the reception of the Torah. We're going to be reading from the writings of Rabbah's second volume, page 974 in Hebrew, an article called "What is it that the world was created for the Torah?" There is no English translation for it. You're welcome to send us questions to kab.tv. Selected questions will be out.
It is written that the Creator has created the Torah 2,000 years before the world. Then He looked at the Torah and He created the world. Meaning the order is not the way we are used to think about it. As if the children of Israel, they received the Torah coming out of Egypt. That's on the one hand. On the other hand, we're already talking about Adam Rishon and Abraham, that they had a connection with these corrections the Torah is talking about. And so, there's a problem here, that the world was created for the Torah, as if the Torah was there, and the world was created to bring it to be. Or the world was there first, and then it was known that the Torah will be written and or created, and the world exists accordingly. It's not clear, all these things. I didn't see or hear any explanation that really makes things clear about what's going on here. What we learn is that the whole system, which is built by the connection between the light and the kli, from the four phases of direct light, and until this whole system establishes and reaches perfection, meaning when the lights and the vessels complement each other and connect in a whole manner, this whole system is called Torah. We have all the worlds, both this world with the still vegetative, animate, and human beings. Everything we know or don't know, it doesn't matter. The whole of reality is called Torah. And for it all to exist, there's a special component in this reality, which is the highest among the general created being. And we call that Bnei Adam, human beings, and among them, the ones who are attracted to connect to the Creator. They are called Yashar Kel, accordingly, Israel, straight to the Creator. And they have a special role. These people who yearn for an association with the upper force, to know reality, to reveal it, to participate actively, truly. For them, the Torah has been created, the world has been created for them. Well, let's see what Rabash tells us about it.
We're going to read the same article we've read yesterday in the morning lesson, because this article is like a great summary, nice and clear, of all the discernments that we have in the system of creation. And it gives us a connection between all those parts, and it defines everything very clearly, that if we rely on it, we can never make mistakes. We can always find the right attitude towards all the parts of creation and all of them together. Please.
So, the writings of Rabbah's second volume, page 974 in Hebrew, article "What is it that the world was created for the Torah?" There's no English translation for it. Rashi brings the commentaries of our sages about Bereshit bara. In the beginning, He created for the Torah, called the beginning of His path, and for Israel, who are called the holiness of Israel, are the beginning of its crops. we need to understand what is it that for the Torah the world was created. Torah literally, simply, means the commandment of the king who gave us orders to keep. Are the orders of the king deficient, so that they want that there would be someone who will keep them? Do they have sensation? Rather, we might say that the king wishes that his commandments will be kept. And this is relevant to say about a flesh and blood king who wishes to give them orders, and he enjoys that. But we cannot say such a thing about the Creator, that he wants to be given honor and that they will keep whatever he commands them. Similarly, we need to understand what our sages said, that the world was created for Israel, which means that it wasn't for the Torah. If so, we need to understand, does the creation of the world have two reasons, two causes, or is it a single reason, meaning that both of them indicate a single thing? It is known that the reason for the creation of the world is due to his desire to benefit his creations. And in order to execute the perfection of his actions, that is, so that there will not be a matter of shame, a concealment and restriction were established, so that the good and pleasure will not shine except under the condition that the receiver will have an intention to bestow. Otherwise, there is concealment of the face of the Creator. And for that reason, we were given the commandment of faith, that he leads his world as good that does good, and through the commandment of faith in the Creator, and by keeping the Torah and mitzvot on the basis of faith, then the matter of shame will be corrected. However, due to the creation of the created beings that were created with a will to receive for their own needs, the created beings cannot come to a degree where all of their actions will be for the sake of heaven and not for self-benefit. Therefore, this caused that the will to receive is called evil. And one who walks on this evil path is called wicked. And the will to receive for one's self-benefit is called the evil inclination, because everything that it depicts to a person to do is for him to do everything only for self-reception, and it causes evil or bad to the person. This means that this is the entire reason for which a person cannot attain the good and pleasure that the Creator wishes to give to the created beings. Because over that discernment, called a will to receive for oneself, there was a correction, because the will to receive is opposite to the Creator, whose desire is only to bestow. And the will to receive cannot be a bestower, a giver. In order for there to be an equivalence of form, meaning that a person, at the time that he receives, that he will have the ability to aim that the reception will be in order to bestow, and this is considered already that he is bestowing. This is considered equivalence of form or dvekut, adhesion, because in spirituality, equivalence is called adhesion, even though in action one is receiving. This is called receiving in order to bestow. However, how is it possible that there would be a reality by which we can actually achieve equivalence of form? Since this will to receive, the Creator created it. And how is it possible to cancel the nature that the Creator created? For that, a correction was made, that indeed the nature of the will to receive cannot be cancelled. However, on top of it, we add an intention to bestow. It follows that the will to receive, meaning the fact that a person sees something out of which he can enjoy, that remains. That is, even later on, a person enjoys, however, with a different intention, and this is called receiving in order to bestow. However, how can a man make another intention other than receiving for his own benefit, rather for the benefit of the Creator? About that, our sages said, the Creator said, I created the evil inclination, I created the spice of the Torah, which means that through the virtue of the Torah and mitzvot, a person can reach attaining a desire to bestow. And that is the only counsel by which a person can be rewarded with vessels of bestowal. And about that our sages said, the light in her reforms one. It follows that through the Torah a person will attain vessels of bestowal. Then he'll be able to receive the good and pleasure that the Creator wishes to give to the created beings. And in that aspect, the Torah is called 614 counsels, meaning 614 pieces of advice by which a person will be rewarded with vessels of bestowal. Later on, after he will be rewarded through the Torah with vessels of bestowal, then he should receive the good and pleasure that is in the thought of the Creator. And this good and pleasure is also called the Torah, which means that then the 613 pieces of advice become 613 deposits, which means that in every mitzvah there is a special light. This is as it says, as follows, seemingly in the Torah and mitzvot there is the discernment of we shall do and the discernment of we shall hear. As our sages said, those who do his words, to hear his words. First they do, and later on they hear. And when they keep the Torah and mitzvot as those who do his words, before they actually are rewarded with hearing, then the mitzvot are called 613 counsels, pieces of advice. And they are as a whole, posterior. And when they are rewarded with hearing the words, hearing his words, then the 613 mitzvot become deposits, pkudin, from the word pikadon, deposit, because there are 613 mitzvot, and in every mitzvah the light of a special degree is deposited. By this we can explain what we asked, what is the meaning of that the Torah, the world was created for the Torah. Does the Torah have sensation so that it will feel that it lacks someone to keep it? Seemingly we asked, elsewhere our sages said that the world was created for Israel. The thing is that both of them imply one thing, which is that the reason for the creation of the world was due to his desire to benefit his creations. And it says that at the time that the Creator wished to create Adam Harishon, the angels opposed it. And they said, who is a human being that you shall visit him? What do you need this trouble for? And the Creator replied to them that it is like a king who has a tower full of all good, but he has no guests. It follows that the creation of man was due to his desire to benefit his creations. And this is as they said, that the creation of the world was for Israel, who are called Rishit, beginning. But what is the good and pleasure that he wished to give them? Then our sages come and tell us that this good and pleasure is the Torah, which means that the creation of the world was in order for Israel to receive and enjoy the good and pleasure which is in the Torah. It follows that when they say that the world was created for Israel, and when they said that the world was created for the Torah, it is one and the same. However, in one place they are talking about the receivers, who are Israel, and in another place they talk about what Israel will receive, meaning one way it talks about the Kli and the other about the light. But both of them are one thing, light and Kli. However, what they said, that the world was created for the Torah, should be interpreted in two manners. One, again, that the Torah is as 613 pieces of advice, meaning 613 counsels for how to subjugate the evil. As it says, I created the evil inclination, I created for it the spice of the Torah. Meaning that by the Torah they will correct the evil, because the light in her reforms one. And in a similar manner, we should explain what our sages said: if not for my covenant day and night, I will not have placed the laws of the heavens and the earth. And they explained that day and night means the Torah, as it says, and you shall contemplate it day and night. Meaning, if not for the Torah, the world could not be sustained. We should explain that by the Torah, that the light in it reforms one, the world can exist, which means that there is a possibility to receive the good and pleasure, because the Torah will correct the evil in the created beings, so that they will have equivalence of form, and by that the flaw of shame will be corrected. And it is self-evident that if the Torah would not reform, then there would be no reality by which they can receive the good and pleasure. It follows that then the laws of the heavens and the earth I did not place or did not establish, so that everything would be useless then. It follows that the Torah here is called only advice, meaning counsels for how to receive the good. 2. Again, that the Torah is as 613 deposits, which are the holy names. As it says in the introduction of the Zohar, that in every mitzvah the light of a special degree is deposited, which corresponds to a special organ in the 613 organs and tendons of the soul and of the body. And it follows that when keeping the mitzvah, one extends to the corresponding organ in his body and his soul the degree of the light that belongs to that organ and tendon. And this is the panim, the anterior or face of the mitzvot, which are then called Kudin, deposits. By this we can explain that the fact that our sages said the world was created for the Torah, it means that they say that the reason for the creation of the world was due to his desire to benefit his creations. That good and pleasure exists in the Torah, called the names of the Creator. And the general name of the Creator is good that does good. Because the names that we give to the Creator are only from the discernment of, from your actions, we know you. Therefore, since they attained from the Creator good and pleasure for themselves and for the entire world, therefore they gave him the name good and benevolent. As the sages said, that he is good to the first ones and does good to the ones at the end, which means that they attain that they received good from the Creator, and they also attain that the Creator also does good to others. However, about the Creator himself we cannot talk, as it says in the Zohar, that there is no thought of conception of him at all. And it means that about the Creator himself, it is impossible to talk, because we have no attainment of the Creator. It follows that what our sages said, that the world was created for the Torah, and what our sages said, that the world was created for Israel, it is one and the same. However, the difference is between the light and the kli. The light is called Torah, and the kli for the reception of the light is called Israel. This matter is also explained in the book A Sage's Fruit, where he explains the matter of the Torah or the light, and Israel and the Creator are one. These are his words. And you see that the secret of the above mentioned 620 names of the 613 mitzvot of Oraita, of the Torah, and the 7 mitzvot of Rabbanan are actually 5 discernments of the soul, that is Naran Chai, because the kelim of Naran Chai are from the above mentioned 620 mitzvot, and the lights of Naran Chai are the essence of the light of the Torah in each and every mitzvah. It follows that the Torah and the soul are one. However, the Creator is the secret of the light of Ein Sof, dressed in the light of the Torah, in the above mentioned 620 mitzvot. It follows that the discernment of Israel and the Torah are one. Rather, the distinction is about what we are talking, either the light or the kli. However, the order of the work is that as we were born already after the sin of the tree of knowledge, hence we are already immersed in the will to receive for self-benefit, over which there was a restriction and concealment. Hence the order of our work begins with work in lo lishma, not for her sake. That is, when we begin to keep the Torah and mitzvot, we have to believe even in lo lishma. Because without faith, even in lo lishma, we cannot do anything. Nevertheless, when the work is on the basis of faith, this is already hard work. Meaning that only in a place where the reward and punishment are revealed, then this work is called within reason, since we can immediately see the consequences, the results. Whereas at the time that the reward and punishment are covered, hidden, and we have to believe in reward and punishment, then even lo lishma is a great exertion. But that is not so terrible yet, because it is not against the nature of the will to receive for oneself. Whereas, if we want to reach adhesion, called in order to bestow, then the body begins to resist with all of its power. And without help from above, it is impossible to get out of the dominion of the will to receive. About that they said, if not for the Creator helping him, he wouldn't be able to cope with it. And the advice for that is the Torah, because the light in her reforms. And later on, when a person has already been rewarded with vessels of bestowal, he is rewarded with the discernment called the names of the Creator, which is the good and pleasure that was in his thought to give to the created beings. As they said, that the reason of the creation of the worlds was in order to benefit his creations.
Rabash explained so beautifully and shortly and clearly the whole matter of the light and the kli, the Torah, Israel, the general system, 613 mitzvot, Pkudin, 18 regarding the lights, the vessels, Naran Chai, that there's nothing left to add. He arranged all the things that usually we, humanity, is really confused about. No one really understands what it's about. He organized it all, so if there's something unclear, ask. Yes?